Hey guys, it's Matt from Hedge here once again to bring you another educational crypto video. It's important that you stay till the end of this video so that way you can get the gist of the information that I'm trying to convey. And today we're going to be talking about Quant due to popular demand in our comment section. But before we begin, I just got to say one thing. This is not financial advice. We do not accept liabilities for losses that you may incur. Everything in this video is here strictly for educational, research, and resource purposes. With that in mind, you should be able to enjoy this video. Today, like I mentioned, we're going to be talking about Quant. And this is a coin that's always kind of just been floating around. I've always seen it do well, but I've never actually taken the time to look into it. So because people in the comment section were asking for it, I decided, you know what, it would be nice to be able to bring up these subjects, right? Or bring up what the people want to see. And the first thing that I noticed was this. All right, yeah, the price itself up from a year, insane gains. Wow, look at that. As low as basically $8 to 293 right now. That's a huge gain. That is a lot of gains. And it's only number 41 in the market rank. So right there it shows when it's high, but it's not super high. It's not in the top 10 yet. It just goes to show that there could still be room for growth, especially in terms of market cap, since it's only about 3.5 billion. The other thing that I like about it is the tokenomics. So you see here, the max supply is only going to be 14 million and circulating is only 12. So it's a very small supply. And usually coins like that, they have a tendency of going up really hard. But the thing that's scary about a coin like that is that it could also go down really hard. So I personally don't think that's what's going to happen with Quant, because it's been steadily going up. It hasn't really emulated a pump and dump, which is a good sign for a coin like this with such a small supply. And we're just going to have to see how it progresses. So that's my 2 cents on pricing, supply, the volume. That's what I got to say about it. It could still continue running. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention was that naturally I'm gonna figure out what it's actually trying to do, right? And a lot of these blockchain companies, a lot of these cryptocurrencies, they're marketing basically a DLT, which is a distributed ledger technology, right? Now, what I found interesting about Quant, because particularly it didn't really excite me when I was looking at the price, the year to growth, the year to day growth from $8 to 300. It didn't really excite me looking at it from a trader's perspective, because to buy one share is a lot for however much growth it could potentially get in market cap in a short amount of time. But then when I started looking into it, something interesting happened. I was like, all right, well, they're not just providing a DLT. What they're actually trying to do is they're trying to basically solve this issue of no interconnection between DLTs, which right there brings it to basically what makes it valuable. And what makes it valuable is the fact that what they're trying to do is they're trying to bridge the gap between multiple distributed ledgers so that they could interact with each other. And that's something that's pretty big, because you know what? A lot of companies will basically create their own ledger tech, and they'll tailor it to their needs and specific whatever their specific goals are. And the thing is not every single blockchain or ledger is going to be built the same way due to that. And because of that, it's hard for, let's say, companies to use their ledgers to interact with each other because they're not compatible. And that could be an issue. Let's say Shopify wants to do something with Amazon, and their ledger techs are different, and the way they're doing things are different. They're not going to be able to bridge that gap to make business as efficient or cost effective. Now, what Quant aims to do is to bridge that gap where all ledgers will be able to basically operate with each other to some degree. Now, that's pretty interesting, considering that that's not really something you're going to see very often. That's pretty rare. And that's actually the first time that I've heard of that as a option to basically be provided as a service. So the next thing I wanted to get into was partners. So partners, the first one that I noticed was SIA. And I was like, all right, SIA, what's this about? And basically what SIA is doing, SIA is like a tech company from Italy that's working with the financial sector. And at first I was like, all right, well, that's not very interesting because I never heard of it. But then when I look at it deeper, they're actually basically interacting with R3 Corda. I had mentioned this recently that R3 Corda is basically the blockchain technology that's handling a lot of like the government's integration of blockchain into our systems. If they're working with R3 Corda and SIA chain, that's a pretty big thing, just considering that that's now on a governmental level. So that's always a good thing to see on the resume of a coin pick. The other one that I wanted to mention, and it's a pretty big name, was Amazon. And then you're like, whoa, Amazon, this is pretty crazy, but here's the thing that's a little bit weird. You click on the partnership and it says, oops, partner does not exist any longer. So that means that Quant may or may not have lost that partnership with Amazon or AWS. So like, I'm not going to sit here and say that it won't be successful because Amazon is not behind it anymore. But you got to ask yourself, why did it lose such a major partnership like that? Is it A, because they failed to deliver, or B, because they found something better? So you got to keep that in mind when you're looking at a project like that. I'm not going to sit here and try and sell you riches. I'd rather be very honest with that whole thing. If this is what's happening, then that could be a sign that they dumped the partnership. That's what I found interesting about this specific thing. The other thing was Hyperledger. It's just like another cross-industry blockchain technology. They're just trying to create more interoperability, and like the two main names that stuck out for me were SIA and Amazon more than anything. The use case is there. Quant definitely has a good use case, but I am weirded out by the fact that Amazon closed their partnership, the year-to-date growth, as well as how much more growth there could be based on the supply. So once again, it's opinion. It's not like I can't tell you what would be a good buy or sell point for this, but definitely keep your eye on it especially if you're interested in this project, but I like the use case. I just don't like the fact that the partners dumped it. So guys, if you stay with me till the end, like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate you coming here and viewing with us. And we're going to have our Patreon, Reddit, and a few other accounts up and ready for the community. And we'd mentioned a long time ago in the community that we're going to be basically setting up a Telegram group for you guys, a public Telegram. Now, due to the fact that my previous Telegram group was a closed group of all people locally that I'd known, I've decided to keep that group closed because a lot of people have asked about joining that group. So I've decided instead I'm going to be opening a more public group where it's going to be a community where people could, join as a membership and be able to basically, participate with other traders in the community. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care.